We are here at the Superstore in New Orleans, about to go get in line to meet Elias.
Let's walk with him. Walk with me.
With Elias!
You want to put this in that one bag, Marcus? Because I ain't got no room in mine.
Hey, come to the people in the back! Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth!
Before I go in, I want to make sure that everybody here knows. Everybody is going to know on Sunday. That WWE stands for
Walk with Elias!
That WWE stands for
Walk with Elias!
How do you get this out, bro?
What to do?
Hey guys, I wanted to explain some of what you're going to see in these next couple of photos. I went to St. Louis Cemetery #1. You need to specify which one because there's 3, and if you go to the wrong one like I did, you're going to have to loop around and go back to #1. I wanted to go to #1 because that is where the tomb of Maria Laveau is. And out of respect to the Archdiocese and the dead, there is no filming allowed in the St. Louis Cemetery #1. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But I had an awesome tour guide. His name was Colin. If you are on TripAdvisor, I think his company was called Backstage to New Orleans, and give him a look, and if you're interested in coming down and taking that tour, definitely go when he's there. This next photo was going to explain a little bit more as to why no filming is allowed in this particular cemetery anymore. The story is that this tomb was used during the filming of the movie Easy Rider, and Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper are hanging out in the cemetery in the middle of like a LSD trip, and Peter Fonda is on top of this tomb with this, he felt this connection to something, having some trip about his mother, and Dennis Hopper and wasn't very sympathetic and was kind of egging him on, and you whiny baby, and he eventually breaks the hand off of this statue, and so that kind of put an end to that. And so that's a cool little story. And according to the tour, the only other company that's been allowed to come in and do anything close to filming since was the Walt Disney Company for the movie Princess and the Frog, I think is what it was called. I didn't see it, but I might have to check it out now. This next tomb is just a real quick photo. It's the tomb of Maria Laveau. There's a tradition of going to her tomb, and she was voodoo. What is voodoo and hoodoo? There's the good and the dark side to this religion, and you go to her tomb and you ask for what you want to have happen to yourself or to somebody else, and you tap it 3 times. You do 3 counterclockwise turns, and if it comes true, you bring her back 3 of something. And that's the gist of it. You can Google some more information about her. It's a pretty, this tour is worth doing. You're standing on like some really funky ground, so go check it out. Also, one more thing I wanted to, there was another rule in addition to no filming. You don't leave anything and you don't take anything. So I was kind of nervous. Could these pictures be considered me taking something? We'll have to find out. There was a story that Colin told about a lady that was there and was going around to each of the little monuments and would take a pebble here and there, and got home with them and started having like some of the most vivid, terrible nightmares she'd ever had, and actually mailed them back to the church to say, please put these back wherever they go. And they're still in a box to this day. So I got that going for me. This last photo is neat just because of the story behind it and who it belongs to. It's the final resting place of Nicholas Coppola, also known as Nick Cage. There was a story that came out about him losing this property in like an IRS situation, but according to the tour, that's not true. He had to sell off a bunch of stuff because it was part of a Bernie Madoff thing, but he still owns it and it'll still be buried here. And it's become a tradition that started to, apparently ladies will, it's hard to see, but they're there. And well, ladies will visit the tomb and leave a lip mark, a kiss print on it, in the hopes that it'll bring them fame and fortune, which is frowned upon by the archdiocese and the cemetery itself. If the tour guide is caught allowing this to happen, they're supposed to lose their license. And I'm not sure what goes into getting a license to do this tour, but it sounds pretty serious, and I don't want to cause anything like that to happen. But it's a pretty funky little tradition that I thought was kind of neat, and it's got a connection to Nick Cage, who's, you know, known for being out there. And the tour guide was really good to make clear that Nick Cage did some good for the city after Katrina, donated a ton of money, and just, you know, was one of those guys who was like, you don't say anything bad about Nick when he's around. So it was a neat story. And there was a few things that have happened where it was struck by lightning a few times, and he has a thing that's called I forget exactly how it was worded, but you pay a certain amount of money and they keep up the tomb whether you're still alive or not. So it was a pretty neat little story to hear about. Okay, so the last photo, I thought I was done. This was actually outside of the cemetery, so this is a whole new line of photos in a different set of photos, so it doesn't count. This image appeared Easter Sunday outside of the cemetery, and if you can see it, there's what appears to be the image of Jesus, and if you look even closer, he doesn't look very happy. So I thought it was kind of a fun little photo to point out and give a look at.